Hey everybody, my name is Gabriela. This is episode, I think, 3 of the Art of Healing podcast. And today I'm really excited to have a very, very special guest, Miss Holly. And the topic we're going to be talking about today is really interesting, specifically because I feel like it involves all of us. It affects all of us in some way, shape, or form. And I think it's just very important to be able to have that conversation in a way that everybody can know and be more aware of what's kind of happening biologically, emotionally, mentally with this thing. So I'll let Holly introduce herself, and then that way you guys will get a glimpse about what this podcast will be about.
Well, hello, friends. So I'm Holly Levine. I am a certified food addiction recovery advocate, peer support. I say that proudly because I have struggled with food addiction my whole life. I'm also a certified hypnotherapist, certified sound and vibrational therapy practitioner. I also dabble a bit in doing some emotional processing work. And I love it.
It's beautiful.
But the food addiction is what brought me into this, how I got into the helping industry. The funny thing is before this I was a caterer.
Oh, really?
Let me surround myself with food. But yes, it's been a lived experience for me my entire life. I don't remember a time where I wasn't somehow in the food, even as a toddler.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for being able to have this conversation. Today we're going to talk about the relationship of food with our emotions, with our digestive system, how it applies to us in Chinese medicine terms and things like this. So I am really excited to get into it. I hope you guys enjoy. So my first question for you is, how often are struggles with food rooted in unresolved emotional turmoil? And like what kind of wounds tend to show up more often within this type of work?
I was thinking about that because certainly you've heard people use the phrase, oh, I'm just an emotional eater. And I definitely think that emotions play a huge role. And it could be an emotion of something that happened today, and it could be something that's deep from childhood, and all sorts of varieties will show up. I don't think that you could say that one is more prevalent than the other.
Okay.
But I will definitely say that a lot of people that I have worked with have had some form of either CPTSD or PTSD from their childhood. But not necessarily. That's not a prerequisite, so to speak.
Okay,
yeah.
Good to know. Absolutely. I didn't know that.
For sure.
Yeah, and I guess that kind of goes into what we're going to talk about in our second question. These things that the relationship with food, if it's not coming from an unresolved place within the childhood or currently in life, it goes into that more biological reasoning of why are we so addicted to food? Why does our food not digest properly? Why can we go to Europe for 2 weeks and eat the same thing we're eating here and we lose weight? You know, things like this. So can you give us a little bit of insight on
oh my goodness.
that whole thing?
Thank you. Thank you for the forum and the floor to talk about this, because it's really important. I think it's something that people don't know is happening right under their noses, which is the I hesitate to call it food. Okay, let's talk about processed food and ultra processed food. And I would say that they have been chemically modified to get us to crave, to buy more. I've shared with you that in the mid 80s, the tobacco companies came in and bought a lot of the large processed food purveyors, and they implemented what is called the addiction business model. And there's 5 A's of the addiction business model. One of them is addictive properties. They hook people up to brain scan machines, feed them these products, and they look for the largest explosion in the brain. When that happens, if it's not too much, they call that the bliss point. And it's a neuromarketer term. which is actually a course in Harvard, how to get people's brains to crave. Neuromarketers. Anywho, that is one of the A's, is create a product that has addictive properties so that you will come and buy more and more. You've heard the phrase, no one can eat just one.
Yeah.
You've seen the commercial that says, feed your addiction. I mean, they're not even trying to hide it anymore.
No, they're not.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, the quality of food that you eat, or real food versus frankenfood is what I call it, it makes a big difference in how much you crave.
Right.
It really does.
Right. And what are some examples of these different types of food? Because I know in Chinese medicine there's a whole kind of like breakdown system of what organs and what emotions crave certain flavors and tastes and all these things. So in our space, in our sphere, like what are examples of clean food versus frankenfood?
Yeah.
For those who don't know.
Truth. So many of those types of foods, highly processed foods, ultra processed foods, will activate specific areas in the brain. For example, the dopamine pathways. We've heard of dopamine. There's a book out there called Dopamine Nation by Anna Lemke. I highly recommend it because it explains why our brains act the way they do. So you've got that. There's other pathways in our brain. The processed oils, they activate it's called the endocannabinoid part of our brain. Opiate pathways. Okay, so I hate to say this because there's going to be a lot of people out there who don't want to hear this.
That's okay. We encourage it.
Dairy.
Yeah.
Dairy it's designed to put a 100-pound cow to sleep. Okay, it is designed to grow that cow fast. And for a cow that's awesome. For a human, it is not good. And it also you could have joint pain from that, bloating, short-term and very long-term effects from dairy. I hate to say it because, dang man, what am I going to eat?
Right.
But, whole foods, real whole foods.
Fruits, veggies,
grains,
even
grains. Some people they're vegan and they're vegetarian, I know. And then there are some people who do still have the animal proteins. I don't like to get in that argument because I think if you look at all of the food plans that are working, what are they eliminating the most?
Yeah, the processed
the garbage.
Foods. Exactly.
The garbage, and everybody seems to get better on
exactly
these plans. I say what works best for you. Does a vegetarian plan work better or vegan plan work better? I'm a mixture. I'm a paleo person. I do a bit of both.
Nice.
Some people even lean more into the carnivore side of things and have relief.
Exactly.
So I don't want to be the gatekeeper and the judge of what works for people.
Of course.
And I talked to you about that.
Yeah, no, of course. And that's what I mean. I think it's really important because at the end of the day, whole foods is what is meant and built for our bodies, whatever that whole food may be. And I always tell people, because people kind of have I think people don't understand really what someone may mean by whole foods. And the way that I always explain it is the food that you're eating is the only ingredient in that food.
Right.
Look at the list and you see all these ingredients that you don't know how to pronounce, and that's kind of the first indication of, wait, maybe I shouldn't be eating this.
I can't believe you just brought this up. Well, of course I can. We're talking about it. But I was at the Salt Cave.
Okay, yeah.
And so I needed to find a lunch to take with me that was clean. I went to one of our high-end grocery stores, our local high-end grocery stores, and I was like, can I find something pre-made? There were 2 items out of the entire pre-made grocery store that I could eat. And it wasn't, you might go in there and say, oh, well, no, that would work. But when you read the ingredients, even of the pre-made, propylene glycol,
what is even that?
I don't want to eat that.
Yeah.
I don't want to eat. I believe it's something to do with the oil industry. It's something plastic.
Yeah.
So no wonder why people are having those are very big time hormone disruptors.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's so many people with metabolic syndrome. You know, sugar also contributes to the metabolic syndrome, which I hate to say because I'm sorry, guys. And it's not easy to get rid of or to let go of those foods. So what I would say, and I've talked to you about this, take it slow. Pacing is the most important thing. We've been eating these Franken foods for a long time, and it might be hard to just get rid of them all. But maybe there's one or two of the worst offenders that you could say no more on those.
100%. And I like how there's different language that exists when having the same conversation, because what we call, you said hormone disruptors, right? In Chinese medicine, it applies perfectly in being able to understand that we do have inputs every single day that affect our balance and our flow of qi, you know, our energy that moves throughout our body. So being able to also like engage in practices to get more in tune with what that energy feels like. For example, attending sound baths, doing acupuncture, like sitting in meditation, like having more experiences where we can sit and be able to digest, you know, what it is actually that's happening with our bodies and what could be being affected by, you know.
And I will say this too, the more you're able to let go of the processed stuff, the more you'll be able to sit and meditate, the more energy you'll have to do these other things that you want to do. And it may take some time, but the brain fog starts to go away.
That's true.
My joints start to feel better. I feel like I want to go walking more. So many things can come from taking it to the whole food approach.
It's true. I'll say a brief story, actually. I didn't think I was going to share this, but get ready. When I first started my whole like spiritual journey, it was in 2017, so I was 17 years old. And I remember that that's when I started getting really into veganism, but above veganism, it was the reason it led to veganism is because it was like a moral, energetic thing for me. So, but that was the root of it. And so in that whole journey, because I was just discovering it, we get really excited. So we just want to dive.
Hey everybody, guess what?
You know, exactly, like really dive into it. And so I started like researching the pineal gland and like awakening, basically, you know.
Yes.
And the biggest thing I saw that I know for me had the biggest effect is consuming whole foods only, and that leading to vibrationally and like your cells vibrating at a higher state, which leads you to be able to meditate better, be able to process your emotions better, be able to just move throughout your life with a different light, you know? It's crazy.
I often say, and I may have shared this with you, that I call it recovery. People can call it, you know, letting go of cravings. You can call it whatever you want. I call it recovery. Saved my life. It saved my life mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, which was a little bit of a later development in the process. But 100%, it is a holistic, it can be a holistic experience for the body, mind, spirit. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I am what I like to refer to as the captain of Team Snail. I am all about pacing.
Yeah, the slow and steady wins the race.
That's it.
That's my favorite saying.
That's it. Because there might be people out there saying, I could never let go of sugar. Yeah. I could never let go of my favorite processed foods. And maybe you don't have to. I had to.
Right.
I had to let go of sugar because I couldn't control the use.
Yeah.
And if you think about sugar, just for a moment, let's just pop over here on this subject.
Okay.
What is cocaine? Cocaine is a plant that is, you know, condensed down into a powder, and so is sugar. And if you can look this up online, friends. Sugar hits faster than cocaine in the brain and in the same area of the brain. For me, how many lines are safe to do? How many lines are safe?
Exactly.
Same thing with sugar for me. How much sugar is safe for me? Well, fruits.
Yeah.
100%.
Right.
But that's it for me.
Of course.
I
And
cannot
that's natural
go.
sugars.
Yep.
You know?
That was what we were intended to eat.
Exactly. The sweetness from a tree, from a fruit from a tree.
And we have all the fiber and everything that goes along with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not been condensed down into this powder that's like, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
are we doing drugs here?
Yeah.
I hate to say that because it does sound really drastic, but for me it was.
Yeah.
It was, I was on my pathway to an early death or to a painful existence.
Right.
And now everything has turned around. I'm living the life I love. And I don't need to escape it using that stuff anymore.
Wow.
Hey.
That's beautiful.
I'm grateful to that.
That's beautiful. Congratulations. Always a millions congratulations.
Thank you,
for
my
that.
friend.
It's
I
my
appreciate
absolute
you.
pleasure, of course. It's funny how you say with the comparison with how cocaine and sugar is produced. You know, they're both plants that have been super refined to this small white powder.
Absolutely.
And putting it like that really makes you think. And for me, when you were comparing it with fruits and all of that, it's like your body is almost telling you, like, you shouldn't have just this alone. You know, like this one component of something so beautiful and rich all around, because in ancient communities they also used to eat the coca leaf, you know,
right?
And they still do that in these like indigenous centers,
and they're okay,
they're not, good, you know.
They're like going about their day.
Exactly, cool. And they use it for hunting and focusing, staying, you know, like being able to tap into what it was intended for, but then you strip it down to its most bare, and it's like, that's not natural for the body. That's not okay.
And your body will tell you this. Now, the problem is that through excessive use, which I was, I'm on top of the list up there, excessive use, you start to get a tolerance, just like any other drug, you would start to get a tolerance.
Right.
And the problem is you don't notice the pain points because your body has gotten used to it. But get off it for a while, then do it. And I'm not just talking about sugar, I'm talking about any of the frankenfoods. Get off it for a while. Try it again. Your body will tell you, this is not right for us. If I eat something I'm not supposed to, I'll start to feel sick.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Wow. So let's shift over to how we think that food and our digestive system and emotions all tie together. So for example, being able to understand that when we don't digest our thoughts and our emotions, that also can manifest into problems within our relationship with food, or how even our food digests physically.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Those are two different topics, but I'll blend them. Emotional processing. So in the past, I'll give you my example. In the past, I didn't have any coping skills on how to process my emotions. I couldn't name very many of them. I'm sad, I'm scared, I'm mad, but there's nuances. There's, for folks out there who are interested, there's emotion wheels, and you can really kind of
love that
pin that down, right?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that wheel.
It's important.
It is.
Because we get in touch with ourselves. When I was younger and I felt an uncomfortable emotion, I would just eat because it would numb me out for long enough to make that kind of go away. Just like maybe somebody drinks or does drugs or even
scrolls on social media,
scrolling, gambling, just anything to take my mind off of it, right? And dopamine nation, we go back to that. But when you start to process your emotions, and you do push them down. They're down there. They haven't gone anywhere. They're still deep inside, and some of them could be from a very long time ago. So we talk about unprocessed emotions. Doing some of the work that I do where I sit with people and we start to spell out what is a limiting belief that you're experiencing. For me, my body shape. Okay, I am a food addiction recovery advocate. I have battle wounds from a lifetime of food addiction. Now I am proud of them. But before, when I first became an advocate, I thought I could never talk to anybody because look at me. I'm not perfect. My voice is really important because many times I would go to someone and they wouldn't have a clue what I was talking about.
Right.
Now I have a pretty good clue what someone else is talking about.
100%.
I've lived it. So being able to process these emotions and these limiting beliefs opens up, first of all, bandwidth in your brain. Now, have you ever had that, I'm ruminating over this thing, I'm ruminating, why did I say this, why did I do that? And the next thing you know, you're in the food. Plus, half the day has been taken up with the rumination. You've lost all this time. But what if you process that emotion in real time? You were like, you know what, I was so upset when my partner said that to me. Well, could you process it? Maybe you couldn't process it with your partner at the time, maybe later, maybe never. But do you have a trusted friend that you could talk to? We talk about journaling prompts and how important it is to get out here, or out here. Because when it's here, it takes up a lot of space, and it can activate the pathways to, let me make myself feel better, let me go eat.
Of course.
So yes, and then the gut is your second brain.
It's your second brain.
Or maybe even your first brain. They say there's a lot of neurons there. Either way, it is another brain, and you think about when you get really upset. Do you feel it in your guts?
Of course.
Me too.
Of course, you know.
Me too.
Yeah.
So I cannot explain the gut brain connection in the emotional terms, but we definitely know that it physically affects our gut.
100%.
And if we can help our bodies in those ways, then we're doing a wonderful service for our bodies.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, it's really good because I know that having a deeper understanding about this connection really does help someone have a certain level of autonomy and of just freedom, like food freedom, like you talk about, and being able to just eat intuitively and know what's good for the body and what's not, and what is a craving that comes from a chemical addiction rather than a craving that's coming from the body, you know? So it's really amazing to have that type of awareness, because I do feel like it affects a lot more people than people let up, you know?
Yeah, and you don't have to call it an addiction.
Yeah.
Because some people just don't want to say that. There's negative connotations with that.
Right, of course.
But if you've ever had uncontrollable cravings, binge eating, you don't have to have binge eating disorder to have binge episodes.
Exactly.
You know, I thought I had binge eating disorder, but come to find out, actually, I had food addiction, and that was okay for me. And not at first, okay, I'll admit. At first, I was like, really?
The harder one.
But actually, I'm so grateful because it's led me down the pathway to the sound, to working with people, and finding my passion. It really, my food addiction, this is going to sound crazy, led me to finding my passion in life.
Does not sound crazy at all. It's usually the most painful things that lead us to where we need to be.
100%.
Amazing. So tell the audience what you do, plug in all your information, where, you know, where even are we, you know?
Well,
plug in.
You guys know Art of Healing. That's how we met.
Right.
I do sound baths at Art of Healing once a month on Saturdays. And I also we're in my Decatur location right now. I have my own studio space where I do sound baths. I also do one-on-one, and not just one-on-one sound, but one-on-one food addiction, emotional processing. Sometimes somebody just needs a compassionate ear.
It's true.
Somebody just needs somebody to talk to. Well, I am a non-judgmental person, like judgment-free zone here. And I feel like you need a safe space to be able to share the authentic self sometimes. Maybe you don't have it at home.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I help people. I do energy work, I do mental, emotional work, holistic wellness stuff. I have a podcast on YouTube.
Amazing.
I'm busy. I'm a busy person.
Amazing.
But I love it.
Yes, and this is Sublime Holistic Wellness. Okay.
Look us up on Google. Sublime Holistic Wellness. We have reviews.
Yay! I'll also link it down below in the description as well.
Yeah.
And so I know for me personally, I have worked with Holly with food addiction, and it went incredible. I honestly only did 1 month, and I just had to sit with all the information and all the insight that I really have had during our sessions. I'm really, really grateful to Holly for that, because I mean, I was on Ozempic for 2 months, and I was always the girl to go the natural route, and it took me a lot to get on that medication. And while it did help, I know the problem, I couldn't fix the problem if I didn't fix what was going on up here, so
it's true.
Was able to work with Holly, and it was an absolutely amazing experience. So if this resonates with anybody, please contact her. All of the information will be down below in the link. And also I will say, because this is Art of Healing, and we do offer our own services, acupuncture is an absolutely incredible tool to be able to kind of balance the energetic things that are going on within the body. All of our bodies, we are all energy. All of our organs have different emotions associated with them, have different food types associated with them. So depending on what we're craving, could be an imbalance in a certain organ. It goes really, really deep. So being able to have acupuncture and kind of stimulate these points and reorganize the flowing of chi and the fluidity of that chi, of that energy, it really does help one become so self-aware and so in tune with what is happening within the body, and it really helps so much as well. So if this resonates with you, please contact Holly, contact Art of Healing, and we'll be really, really happy to help you on your journey with food, with processing emotions, with honestly anything that you're looking for.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Beautiful. Any last words?
You don't have to do this alone.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of factors that are involved. So please know, you don't have to be ashamed. You don't have to feel that way. You really are okay. Right where you are right now, and you can get even better with Art of Healing,
mm-hmm.
with me, with yourself, whatever you're discovering out there. You're okay where you are.
Beautiful. Yeah. Definitely something to always have. So thank you so much, Holly. I really appreciate you.
For sure. Thank you.